My family's been in South Carolina since like 1760. Like I can't.
And it shows.
It took a while to get this good look. We're still working on it. We're still working on it.
You guys have an epic year. I just got Yours is good too. I mean, it defines him.
I'm not gonna make a comment.
Wise decision.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Are beards required to get in the club? No, but it does make you cool.
Dean Family Acres.
That's what he says. That's why I hate him. That's fun.
I'm Jason. This is my wife, Robin. We run Big Bear Homestead out of Northeast Georgia over there, right across on the river, on the side. I mean, Savannah's like right there. We're kind of like kissing cousins with people in South Carolina. We have 21 acres. We've been doing this for 15 and a half years.
Yeah.
We started on a small quarter acre plot, literally right across from the Augusta National Golf Club. And we have
go back that far.
and we have grown from there.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the homesteading part of the presentation, we're just going to be like, what do you guys want to talk about? Because there's really not much that we kind of haven't really tripped on over the 15 years, especially with the way how we attack things. We research nothing. We're just like, oh, milk prices are going to go up, so we went and bought a dairy cat. And
then spent the next 5 days trying to figure out
how to milk it. It was bad. It was very bad. But I mean, we honestly believe that the best teacher is experience. Is getting out there, getting it done, and stuff like that. When it comes to the predator control aspect of it, I ran a nuisance wildlife removal business for like 10 years out of Augusta. I've been trapping wildlife since, to quote my grandfather when she asked, when I was old enough and strong enough to hold on to his boot, smart enough not to let go. Whatever, I mean, what questions do you guys kind of have?
Does anybody have any specific things that they wanted to know?
I already got one.
Go ahead.
Raccoon hitting up the chicken coop all the time. What would you do about that?
Here is the most important thing that I'll probably say the entire time when we're talking about predator control. Everything in the animal kingdom follows its food source. It doesn't matter if it's a mouse or if it's us. They're going to go to where the food is. Now, the difference when it comes into when you're dealing with predators, it's all about the calories. So the more difficult that you can make it, where that raccoon has to spend more calories than what he's thinking he's going to get from a chicken, it'll knock a lot of that down. Raccoons are very easy to get into a cage trap. One of my most favorite baits is dried cat food. You can put that in just cut the bottom off of like a little water bottle like that, cut the bottom off, put it in there, put it in the very center of the cage, the back of the cage, behind, because you got that foot plate that'll sit up like this, the trip plate, set it back right about here. But this is the most important part if you're going to try to catch him in a cage. The most important part, right here in front of that foot plate, take a stick and just run it through the side of the cage and in there. Because that's going to stop him from placing that paw right there in front of the plate and then stepping over the plate. That's going to force him to step on that plate because he doesn't want to step on that stick because he's afraid that stick's going to snap, and he has predators that are after him too. So he's going to try and be as quiet as he can be, but get him to step on that. be able to get him to step on the plate. It'll close the door behind him, and he is gonna make a mess. By the time that you guys come out there in the morning, there's gonna be all the way around that cage. It's gonna be dug up, messed up. So don't get him near. Don't put that cage near the fencing. Don't put that cage near the garden bed or anything that you want to stay nice, because they may roll it, but you're gonna have a mound of dirt inside that cage, probably about like that, because they'll just keep pulling it in. And if you get a big Boer coon, I've seen them snatch the sides of those cages in two, especially if it's a have-a-heart. I do not like the have-a-heart cage traps because they can reach out around them and pop the lock on them, a good straw coon, and then just push themselves right out.
Yep.
When it comes to your chargers and how much oomph, it's going to be whatever you can afford. Don't put yourself in a hole for it, because you can always buy an $11 trap and it'll take care of 90% of your predator problem. But it's something that you want that's going to reach out there and tag them really good. The Gallagher solar ones, we've had. Last year we had 2.5 weeks of solid rain, and the chargers didn't quit. They hold their charge. They do really, really, really well. And you can go on our channel, anywhere on our channel. There should be a link in the description somewhere, and I think you get like 10% discount by going through with us.
You don't have to worry about needing to know how to ferment if it's, all the rules. So I just want to kind of take the fear out of it. And when you hear kind of the process, it'll make a lot of sense. So let's talk about fermentation. So when we think about our vegetables, you take it off the vine. That vegetable, it's going on its way to decomposing. It's going to rot if you don't do something with it. And so fermentation is the act of taking that and putting it in the perfect environment to hold it from decomposing, and it will actually flourish and it will become more healthier in the end. So that is the act, what we call fermentation. And it actually increases the nutritional count of your produce, which that's one of the top reasons why I love this form of preservation. Fermentation is the only food preservation that actually increases the nutritional count of that product. I love that it connects me with my food in a healthy way. When we go to the grocery store, so much of it is toxic. We don't know what's on the ingredient labels. We can't even pronounce what's there. There's so many pesticides and whatnot on our vegetables. And I love that I can kind of take that back into my control with fermenting. I love that, like I said, it's healthier. I love that I can take a product and actually not maybe buy so many probiotics and enzymes from the store. I can actually make them right on my counter and I can eat them myself. I love that it doesn't need anything fancy about the salt. So you don't want iodized or table salt. Those have a lot of chemicals. They have a lot of anti-aging agents in them, and those will kill the bacteria. So you just want a good, healthy salt, or just a Celtic sea salt, Himalayan pink salt. I love using Redmond real salt. Just use a good, healthy salt, because if you don't, it could kill your ferment and it will not be successful. And to keep all the vegetable underneath the brine. Because like we said, it's that brine that's protecting it from the outside air. So if you picture making sauerkraut, and that's shredded, or it's like a shredded carrot, and little pieces could float to the top, which I'll explain to you how you keep it from doing that. That's where the weights come in. But if some gets to the top, if anything gets to the top, it will mold. The easiest way is, like, if you don't want to spend a lot of money, you don't have a lot of tools, I will take, so picture sauerkraut, it's shredded. That seems like a hard one to keep underneath. But when I'm making my sauerkraut, I'll keep a cabbage leaf aside, and then I'll take that leaf and I'll pack my cabbage in there, and I'll put the leaf and then I'll tuck it down. And so it's completely wrapped around that, and there's no way that any cabbage can come up.
Apples and pears, prunes, I have mulberry, I have pawpaw trees. I got 3 pawpaw trees, and 2 of them were native I found in the woods. The other, I actually got 2 more, but I grew them from seed that I ordered, because pawpaw tree takes 2 unrelated trees to pollinate, and I have a nectarine. I think that's it. And I was talking a little bit about I got 2 figs, and I got pecans and Dunstan chestnuts. But I was talking a little bit a minute ago about not planting them together. So, you know, when I'm saying that, I mean like apple, 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 and then pear, pear, pear. So they say plant, you know, apple, pear, peach, prune, and start over, something like that, where it's not. They say if a bug's coming in, you know, sometimes bugs are specific. They're seeking out a certain plant, and that way they can't find the next one as easy. It just kind of makes it harder for them. That's really all I got to talk about the trees. I had a little bit about talking about the American chestnut, but I think I'm probably at my time limit. So y'all have any questions?
Oh, yeah. So you don't have to do the 2 apples next to each other. Somebody said, I know, like for apple, peach can have only one. You can have only 1 pear, but you gotta have 2 apples.
So apple trees, I mean, when I'm saying that, like you could have an apple tree right here, an apple tree here, and a peach and a pear. So they're not directly, but you still need them for pollination. They need to be within 30 feet of each other.
30 feet.
Yeah.
Okay, so they don't have to.
And there's certain apple trees that pollinate other certain apple trees, and it goes by timing of the bloom. And if you look up Clemson, I'm a Gamecock fan. I hate to promote them. If you look at their website, they have a wealth of information about trees that grow in South Carolina. Because there's certain trees, you know, apple trees, you know, they tend to do better the colder the climate. They need chill hours. They gotta have so many chill hours to produce. So, but there are some varieties that will grow at the beach, at the coast, and there's some that grow in the Piedmont. And then it'll tell you what will cross-pollinate each other. Like the Yellow Delicious will cross-pollinate a lot of different apple trees. And those holes will stay in there. And what it does is it creates air. It allows air to move in and out. And they'll let that sit. It'll heat up for a couple of days, and then it'll get cold, and it'll stay cold. And then after it gets cold, they'll put worms in there. So the purpose of this is to make a fungal-dominated compost. And they take that, and they do all kind of stuff with it. And there's more steps to it that you can read up. It's a long rabbit hole that you can go down with this. But basically, big ag companies are starting to use this, and they're spraying it on their corn and their stuff. And it's a fungal-dominated compost. So, this next here. So, and the reason why I'm talking about the fungal-dominated compost will come up in a minute again. But adding mulch around your tree helps to retain the moisture, and the mulch will break down, and you will need to replace it once or twice a year. So I don't water my trees. The mulch keeps it moist where I don't have to water it. And then this breaking down process is feeding the tree with nutrients and minerals that's in the trees. You think about the trees, these trees have very, very deep roots. And, you know, as this stuff's breaking down and the nutrients will keep seeping down in the ground, these deep roots will pull that back up, and it's in the tree. And when you cut that tree and shred it up or whatever, and it breaks down, and bringing that back on top. And that process just starts over. Also, the mulch helps, not only does it help feed it, but it also helps keep the weed pressure down. You're not going to have 0 weeds around your trees. You're going to have weeds pop up, but it also makes the weeds easier to pull because that ground's moist. Get the slide. The reason why I was talking about back to the fungal-dominated compost, when you go out into the forest here, what do you see? You see leaves. I see dead limbs right here rotting. You know, people that forage, they go and look and they find falling over oak logs that have mushrooms growing on them, mushroom and fungus. So when you go into a forest, it's a fungal-dominated environment here. So most of the permaculture people that I've follow and soil biologists and all, they recommend putting fungal-dominated compost around your trees and bacteria-dominated compost around your garden plants. And we talked about what the difference in the two is. And you don't have to have this Johnson-Su bioreactor. I mean, you can just simply pile up a pile of wood chips and just let them sit there. It's a longer process. The bioreactor just speeds up that process. That's the whole purpose of it. But you can pile up a pile of leaves. You can pile up a pile of wood chips. Or you can mix them together and you get a fungal-dominated compost. If you do that, if you pile up wood chips, you'll see mushrooms sprouting in them. That's fungus. They call that the teeth of the woods. That fungus is chewing at that and breaking that stuff down. And one way they control these is by cutting these. So, there's one technique they call coppicing a tree, which is cutting it down low, or you can pollard the tree, which is, have you ever seen people come in and murder crepe myrtles? They call it crepe murder. Yeah. But then next year it kind of looks like fist on top of it. But that's actually a technique called pollarding, and it causes that tree to flush out. And what you do at that point, if you plant, so what you would do is, let's say you had an apple tree and a pear tree, and then another row and you had a peach tree back here, you plant a nitrogen fixer in between those and it kind of helps it. And then you would come in and cut that tree down. And you can use those branches as a mulch layer. And remember we was talking about we needed a mulch maker in our list. We needed a nitrogen fixer, insect repeller, mulch maker. So this makes mulch. And then as those branches break down, it helps feed, but it's getting that nitrogen exchange in the soil. So it's taking nitrogen out of the air. There's like so much nitrogen in the air, and it's putting that nitrogen in the ground. That's what the nitrogen fixers do. So some of the nitrogen fixers, we have mimosa tree, and there's some red buds is said to be a nitrogen fixer too, but I've read some things that said it wasn't and some things that say it is. Black locust, autumn olive, Kentucky coffee tree, mesquite, and elder. And there's also shrubs that are, like you've heard people talk about moringa. I think that is a nitrogen fixer too, and there's some other ones.
All right, so I think we're going to do Q&A now. So for anybody who didn't get questions answered earlier, all of us wanted to be up here and see how much more Jason can talk. So, yeah, I know. You do have my phone number too. I know. So if any of y'all didn't have questions answered before, or maybe if y'all don't have questions, I'm sure maybe some folks up here had some things that seem to be asked a lot that maybe you want to make sure everybody kind of heard. But I love to do that because I think that it helps other people connect in regards to letting them know just what they missed out on, and just the connections that we'll make, and hopefully we kind of grow it from there. I think that we've had a pretty good turnout, and I know that we had a lot of people that were still wanting to come. And I just wasn't sure about numbers-wise, what we were going to end up with. So if you're willing to do that, come see me afterwards. I would love to do that and just, kind of talk with you, that kind of thing. So any other comments? All right.
This concept of how Matt set everything up, in my opinion, is the most important thing that we can do right now with the way that everything is going on. With the supply chains and all the other madness. Little gatherings like this, in my opinion, is more important than going to like an HOA or something like that, because this is where you're an hour from me. He's 15 minutes from me. He's just on the wrong side of the river. But we're close, so if my squash just does horrible, and he had a bumper crop of squash, I can call him up and say, hey, what do you want to trade for some squash? Or what do you want to trade for this? Or what do you want to trade from that? Or, hey, I'm trying to put this barn up. Can you guys come? Because all of the bodies that are here right now, we could get a barn up in a day, And this is what makes it important, this type of small community right here. So take the time this afternoon, if you haven't done it yet, get to know everybody. shake everybody's hand, trade contact information, because Robin and I have been doing this for 15 plus years. We didn't, in the very beginning, this didn't exist, and we were considered weird or crazy, And now more people are starting to come to this type of lifestyle, and they're starting to see the health benefits of growing your own food and stuff. And so we can lean on each other, because there were some times that we were beating our heads up against the wall trying to figure this out, and going to the library and trying to find a book, because our generation, our parents, most of our parents, they don't know how to plant anything. Our grandparents did.
Yeah, we're one generation.
But our parents, they weren't homesteaders. They were out getting the jobs in the city. They were doing stuff like that. So lean on each other. I can't emphasize that enough. Get to know everybody in this small group here, because there's going to come a time on your homestead, no matter how big or how small you are, the people that are here right now are going to save you. And I think this is a wonderful thing that you started right here for this area.
We get around and we meet each other. Say we miss someone or forget someone's name. Is there a sprocket like we can go to, like you, and say, hey, I know this guy, he does this, or?
Sure. In regards to who does what, I can't say that I will be the person who will fully organize all of those pieces, but you're welcome to. I don't mind sending an email blast out, in regards to blind carbon copy everybody, and say, hey, someone said that they met somebody who did honey. Who was that guy?
Yeah.
And see if someone else might know him, that kind of thing. I don't mind doing that. I mean, I don't want to necessarily share everybody's contact info, although most of us probably don't care in regards to the group. But I think we can definitely coordinate and make that happen.
As long as you're not selling car warranties,
They never went to install my 7 people.
Well, it's a good place for resources, Matt. Like, we're going to get pigs, and now I have a pig resource.
Right.
That I know.
I got one for you right now, ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's in regards to how some of this stuff grows and the direction it goes. If y'all feel like I know there's probably about 8 South Carolina Facebook groups for homesteading right now.
Face?
I don't know about Georgia. My family's been in South Carolina since like 1760. Like I can't.
And it shows.
It took a while to get this good look. We're still working on it. We're still working on it.
He does have an epic beard. I just got Yours is good too. I mean, it defines him.
I'm not gonna make a comment.
Wise decision.
So, if y'all want to have a Facebook group specifically for this, I'm not opposed to that, but I know that there are a bunch of them already, and I don't want to necessarily create the wheel of something that's already going.
I think you should. In all honesty, I think you should. Because the reason being is you can put faces to names.
That is the hard part.
And you can throw it out, because like, they raise pigs, we raise pigs, we raise pigs. Who else raises pigs in here? Nobody? Well, that's 3 resources that if you started raising pigs and you had an issue with something that come up, pig just started acting crazy or something.
And I know that I'll be sending out a just a survey. If nobody wants to say anything to me personally, that's totally fine. I know how those go sometimes, but just how to improve. Yeah, how to improve. What you liked, what you didn't like.
Oh, yeah. Send me that email.
I'll send that to everyone from South Carolina. And
remember, I'm the one that checks the email.
Okay, so we're good?
We're good.
All right. So y'all definitely remember that. I know that in regards to us uploading things, definitely connect with, I know there are several people here that will be uploading videos in different forms, on different platforms, different groups, different everything, different channels. So just be sure and check all of that out. Some of it will be on Homesteaders of the Southeast. Some of it will be on mine. I'm sure Megan. I'm sure Instagram. I'm sure you'll. She'll do something. She'll do something with it. So again, just thank each and every one of y'all.
But everybody that's here, because I still don't know if we got to everybody, the gap.
Sure.
Everybody that has a channel to shout, just to say, because I'm like, I know people's comments, not their faces.
Right. Sure. No, if y'all want to share, that's totally fine.
Yeah, with everybody. Like, is there any other, how many contract raisers are here? I don't know.
Well, that's a good. That's a good point.
Good point. Yeah.
How many?
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Are beers required to get in the club? No, but it does make you cool.
We're very high. Goes along.
Hi, my name is Matt Dean, and I really wish I could be from the great state of Georgia. I lay awake at night wondering what it would be like to have the honor to live in Georgia. I just wish I could be somebody from Georgia. Deep down inside, in places that I don't share publicly, I know that Georgia is the best place to live. I know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that Georgia is so much better than South Carolina. I just wish that I could be from there. I just wanted to share that with you guys. Again, my name is Matt Dean.
Sir, what are you doing?
What? I'm giving you a blooper reel.
This is bloopers, all right. It sounded like it.
No, I'm just laying out facts. I'm just trying to get the people that watch your channel, I want them to get to know you better. So I was sharing some of the stuff that you shared with me.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, you will when you go to the editing room.
Oh boy.